Hello, Brave Masters. Jena Rodriguez here, founder of the Brave Entrepreneur Movement and also the founder and creator of the Brave Speaker Program and the Beyond Brave Mastermind. So I wanted to kind of speak to you about a conversation around why the value ladder, the traditional value ladder that you hear about, or maybe you call it a sales funnel, meaning what do you sell, what are your offerings, your offering funnel, doesn't always work. And I may ruffle a few feathers, and that's okay. I'm coming from my experience, from my knowledge over the last 12 years as an entrepreneur. And I just want to give some insight into maybe why it doesn't work and what to do about it. And so if you're here live with me, please say hey and tell me where you're calling in from. And if you're on replay, remember the rule. Hit hashtag replay, right? So why does the traditional, value ladder not really work? And what I mean by value ladder, so first let me kind of define it. It's that sense of like, okay, I'm going to sell something free. I'm going to move them to something $7, and then I'm going to move them something that's $37, and then I'm going to move people to something that's $197, and then I'm going to move them to something that is $597, and then I'm going to move them to something like $297 or $2,097, whatever. Right? You get the picture, right? It's this like free $7, like this up level. And although that would be great and amazing if it happened at high volume, right? The truth is that, for the coaches and consultants that I predominantly work with, it's the slow route. And what's interesting is that when I started in more of my coaching and strategy offerings, and if you don't know my whole story, and I'm not going to go into the whole picture, but 12 years ago, I bought a storefront that didn't work, had to close that sucker. And then I jumped into more of an agency model with my husband when we built a web and graphic design company. And then I moved into, I stopped doing websites and so much of the kind of the done for you stuff, and then started doing more of the strategy coaching in 2013. So it's interesting because I've heard of the value ladder, and I was so motivated to get accelerated money coming into my business because I had a mortgage to pay. Like, I had things to pay for, and I couldn't wait for the $7 to turn into $37 to turn into, $197. So I did this somewhat intuitively. Like, I didn't even know that I was doing it back in the day. And now I see people really trying hard to create a lot of stuff. First of all, just create and spend a lot of time building out funnels, and months go by. And here's the thing, this is not about that it doesn't ever work, but if you're in a place where you're struggling financially, where you need more cash flow, where you are like looking for those initial clients, it's one thing to put some creation time when you have cash flow handled and you're making more than 6 figures a year and you're making multiple 6 figures, whatever that is, and you put kind of back up and go, okay, how can I really optimize and take the funnel and start to really build it out. But it's a whole nother thing if you're in the beginning, and most people that I work with are starting out in what I call the launch phase. And we need to get cash coming in. We need to get, those anchor clients coming into our world. So the thing that I recommend is that we start with the inverted funnel, right? And you may have heard that word before as well. But if you're in that place, then it's about what should I do first? And I always talk about this thing called the vital pace. And number one, it's all about knowing where you are in your business, where you're trying to go, and what have you prioritized based on where you are. So if you're in launch phase, it's hard and you're watching people and you don't realize it, but they're over there in the momentum and leader phase where they're making money. They have 6 figures coming into their business, and they're working on funnels, and they're, moving people through the free to the $7 to the et cetera. And it seems to be working for them, and they're making millions of dollars. And so here's the thing, it has its time and place, in my opinion. However, it is not always the first thing to do if you need immediate cash. And so this is what I did, right? Number one, I got in front of people quickly. I networked. I got out there and started speaking. I started, being in front of people in a way that they could make a bigger decision because they could trust, like, know me faster. And hey, Serena, welcome live. And what happened is I could have an honest assessment conversation with them, right? And really assess where they are, what they need, what would solve the problem. And if they were ready to jump all in, I could make $3,000 in one conversation versus waiting 6 months for them to get to that $3,000 level, right? Moving them through the $7, $27, et cetera. Doesn't mean that people don't come in at different levels based on what they're ready for. However, if we're spending all of our time focused on building out the traditional funnel, and we're not spending some time in our marketing, getting in front of people and moving them to the higher priced conversations, meaning I can help you. I can truly help you with this, but it's, what I recommend is my 3-month coaching or 6-month coaching, or what have you. And so I call it the, inverse funnel, because I really am starting people out at this conversation that really would support them at the highest level. And if they're not ready for that, then I can downsell them, right? And get them into something. And however, I'm not, it's kind of like I'm not waiting for them to come up to my level. I'm bringing them through what I recommend, and then they can come down if need be. So I'm curious what you guys think about that, and if you've actually tried it and given it a go, because people that are, it's kind of like a missed opportunity if you don't invite them to what will help them at the highest level. And so, for instance, people come to me and they're like, my business isn't growing. I don't know what to do first. It's not fast enough, and da 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 da. And it's like, well, hey, why don't I just give you this book that's $7 or $20 or whatever it is, and start there. And it's like, but what about the actual fix? What about actually supporting them and having the solution to that big problem that's really painful? And so why not start at the $2,000 or higher? In my case, my online course is around the $2,000 mark, and then you can jump into the mastermind, which is really about scaling your business at the highest level, and that's a 5-figure investment. And so it's about identifying where they really are, what's really going to serve them, and also, moving them into, a program that you offer that is actually going to change what's happening in their business or life or whatever you solve. I'm a business coach, so I tend to say business, but it may be health, it may be, relationship coaching, it may be, if you're a consultant, maybe it's done for you type services. So why I like to talk about this is because I'm all about the fastest path to cash. And what I saw that I did over the last 5 years specifically is it's almost like I had no other choice. I didn't have time to wait for people to move through a 6-month funnel process. And I had bills to pay. I had a mortgage to cover. I had, food to buy, whatever, right? It was much more of a necessity for me. And I would gather that a lot of you are there, except we've been kind of sold this idea that if you just funnel them through these value ladders and these steps from free all the way up to the high level, they'll eventually get there. I just feel like we kind of shortchange our prospects when we aren't offering the higher level. And if they're not ready, that's okay. We can continue to market to them and to offer them other things until they're ready to really invest in themselves. And so my encouragement to you is based on where you are. I'm actually going to put in the chat or the comments a link to actually do this. So if you want a copy of the Vital Pace, I'm going to try a new little automatic delivery system. So if you want a copy of the Vital Pace, type the word Vital Pace, VITALPACE, all together, all caps, in the comments. And I'm going to send you a copy of that for free. Just download it. And that way you can self-identify where you are. Like, where am I in this process? Like, maybe that's the problem, is I don't know where I am in the phase of my business first. in order to know what I should focus on first. And I keep trying to be someone I'm not yet, right? As far as where you are in the level of your business. And so you get to just self-identify where you are, and it really helps you kind of narrow in. I was like, okay, this is what I need to go do, right? And it gives you some action steps and everything based on that phase that you're in. So vital pace all together, it's technically 2 words, but put them together, and I will auto deliver that to you. And the other thing I'd like to invite you to is tomorrow I'm actually going live with a training, and it is at 11 a.m. Central Time. And so I'm going to put in the link there. If you really want to learn about the fastest path to cash and what that looks like and what really needs to start happening, if you're at the beginning of kind of your business or you're making less than 6 figures, basically, then I want to invite you to that opportunity as well. And it's a free training, and you can take advantage of that too. So I'm curious if you are feeling this pain, right? How many of you have tried the funnel, the traditional funnel, right? $7 to 37 to, $197, et cetera. And it's just not quite getting you the results fast enough. I'm not saying it never works. I'm saying that I'm about the fastest path. So would you like it to be faster, right? Would you like the results that you're getting to be faster? And so if you would, put a 1 in the comments as well if you would like it to be faster. And then I can kind of gauge where you guys are. So awesome. I see you, Lamorla. I will get that to you. And hey, Jamie. Hey, Deborah. And you guys are here live with me, so thank you so much. Or at least, you've watched for a few minutes. And so, yeah, it's one of those things where, like I said, I know some people, that's what they promote is, go from the bottom up. And I am saying, let's go from the top down. And when we do that, we can get to the higher dollars faster, and then we can start to implement the bottom up because cash flow is handled. So I just wanted to share that message with you today. I wanted to invite you to grab some free training and also some free resources. So I'll get you the vital pace. And then I will see you on the next live where I answer your questions and just give you some more insight into what's possible for you and what I've gone through and how I can really support you in the long run. So thank you so much for your time. Thank you for being here. And if you've watched this video, please hit #replay. And if you've watched the recording, and I'll see you on the other side. Thanks, guys. Have a great day. Go be brave, right? Go be brave. Talk to you soon.